Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Australian MMA podcast. This is Eternal MMA 104 recap. Took place on the Gold Coast, March 14th. Headlined by Kevin Kophamel taking on Justin Van Heerden for the interim Eternal MMA Featherweight Championship, which I got a feeling is going to be the official championship very, very soon. We're going to run through the card, just chat what happened. Sort of the vibe from the event, kind of where to I think some of these guys will go to next, who they could fight. Once again, send your hate mail, your death threats to Australian MMA _. Don't go on another podcast and say it. Just come say it to me, and we can share in the engagement from social media. No, I always love your thoughts, negative or positive or death threaty. Don't really mind. Just hit me up. Also, we'll be putting out another video to do with the UFC news as well. A lot of Aussie fights coming up. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, like, leave me a review. I just looked the other day. I got like 16 reviews. That's 4.8, which means, you know, it's not great. If you could leave a Spotify review, that would be great. If you send me a screenshot, I will send you a prize. I don't know what that is yet. Maybe it's a magazine. I don't know. I need to write them off for tax reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it off. It's not going to be too heavily edited today. I'm just going to talk at you for an hour. You know how it is. These are one of the most controversial ones I do. Look, this, like I said, main evented by Kevin Kophamel, Van Heerden for the interim Featherweight Championship. We'll get to that, but in classic YouTube fashion, we're going to start from the bottom, working our way up. Now, I had a very unique look at this card. We had a young fella, and I try to stay as unbiased as I can. You know, I like to have you guys all equally hate me at the same time. But I had a young fella that was on the card at the gym I train at Base MMA in Bunbury in Western Australia. It's 2 hours south of Perth. Young man by the name of Aiden Todoroff, who, you know, at the time, number 1, I think ranked number 2 featherweight in Australia. I'll go into that fight very, very soon. But it was a very unique look, and I'm going to be a bit like saw some things, but it wasn't there in like a media perspective, even though I did break some news about Justin Van Heerden's weight miss, which, like I said, we'll go into a little bit later. But yeah, so I don't want to say like too much because I was backstage, and I feel like that's a bit like, you know, if I was like, oh, this guy was crying, like it kind of is like, you know, it's kind of dog act. So I'm going to be as like sort of transparent as I can without being what some people think I am. Look, starting off with the card, in saying that, this one needs to be said. Joel Gerard finished Harry Machete Bennett. I think he came over from M16 or came over from Adelaide. Now he's training at Absolute MMA. He's only been there for a couple of weeks, I think. Joel Gerard is just a handsome young man, trained out of, I think it's CMBT. He is just a, scary dude. I think he's very, very, very talented. Got the finish, landed some hard shots. I think it was TKO in the first round. I don't know if it goes down as an injury or just a TKO stoppage, but Harry Machete Bennett, his right arm popped out in the fight. Or did it happen before? I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'll probably get in trouble. But I just think it's cool. Like, now, Joel Gerard, you got to understand, like, gun. I thought he was a favourite going in, and I think he's going to have, you know, an amazing career. But in saying that, Harry popped his shoulder out while hitting pads backstage. Crazy, I know. Absolute G. Just kind of like popped it back in. Apparently it happens all the time. But, yeah, then he headed into the cage and it happened again. Like I said, not making excuses 100%. I think Joel Gerard, if you watch the strikes landed and everything, I think it was more like a, you know, he cracked him pretty hard. So all sort of credit to him. But, yeah, very, very interesting that as he threw the right hand, he almost knew it was going to happen. But I feel like giving Harry the credit he deserves of, like, the fact that he, like, even went out there, he's like super, super impressive. Like, he literally popped it. I saw it. It happened as he was warming up. So that's pretty wild shit. But Joel Gerard, definitely, and I think he's now 4-2. Definitely a guy to watch. Keep an eye on him. A handsome young man too. Good, gotta love it. Now, Moving on, this fight, very, very interesting. Robin O'Neill, you got to give her credit whether you like her or not. She is bloody one of the hardest workers in the game. She's often like training internationally. I think she fought out of Bangtao for this fight, and she promoted Proving Grounds. So like doing what Cam O'Neill does for Eternal, she was doing that for Proving Grounds the night before, right? And you can say whatever you want, like, oh, well, she had help and this and that, or these people helping. It's like, literally the entire stress. I mean, imagine you're going to run a fight show just in general, how ridiculous that is. But to then be worried about your own fight and then put on the performance she did. Like, just, yeah, awesome. Shout out to Clara Clark from Macca's gym, Marcus McKeever's gym in Mandurah Combat Sports Academy. She's just game as they come. I've never seen anyone so relaxed backstage. Her and Jesse Ukic, they were literally like laughing, joking around. I've never seen anyone so relaxed that early in their career, going up against Robin, who is, she got to turn pro soon, and she will be probably one of the girls to sort of watch. As she doesn't get credit for it yet, but I think we could be seeing her like talked about sort of the UFC and sort of those next levels, like 100%. I think she's been on the podcast before. She talked about health issues that get in the way, and she pushes through all of that. I think she like, if she doesn't get the credit, it's because she's a bit more like, she's very like confident in what she does and how she goes about it. And she's very like outspoken. I think she's a fucking tremendous character. I've clashed with her probably 487 times. But mate, if you cannot deny her skill, her personality, she has like a bit of star power too. So I'm very interested to see how Proving Grounds Fight League turns out with her while she kind of keeps going with her pro career. And it's pretty cool. I think there was Benny Vickers and Cam O'Neill, who run Eternal, in her corner as well. So if you're Clara Clark, that's going to be quite scary as well. You're like, oh, these guys are the show that I'm fighting on. They probably want me to lose. But yeah, Robin, I think it was TKO round 2. It's probably the longest fight of the entire card, by the championship bout and the pro card. But yeah, Robin O'Neill, just watch her on the pads as well. Like, she's one of the slickest strikers. Like, you watch her on the pads, she's like super crisp. So big fan of Robin. Don't talk about her enough, mainly because she's like an Ami, but as she turns into the pros, which I would imagine is next, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of her. Moving on to the third fight of the card. These are all on UFC Fight Pass on YouTube, which is pretty cool. I like that Eternal kind of has it all streamlined now. Got tired of putting in different emails, so I could watch them on their website. But Aiden Todorov versus Chris Power. Oh, God. I was in the corner of young Aiden Todorov. Been with that kid since he was like 15, sort of walking into like the beginners MMA class. And the kid is just scary. I'm not going to give him the Harry Webb sort of treatment yet, but when you hear this kid hit pads, even backstage, it's fucking terrifying. Like, it's like gunshots. And if anyone's heard Harry Webb hit pads, it literally is like the most intimidating thing you will ever hear in your life. And if you watch Mr. Todorov, he basically goes through an entire workout before. Like, if you watch him warming up, and some people like move around a little bit, maybe they hit pads, like Aiden's like almost like sparring before he goes out. It's insane. So really, really tough kid. But the reason why I build this kid up as well is I think he's going to be an absolute star. I'm incredibly biased. I try not to be too biased with what I do here. If anything, I'm sometimes meaner to the people that I like, but people like Kasib Murdoch and stuff like that. Like, I'm very like critical of the dudes that I think are going to be amazing, which gets me in a little bit of trouble. But Chris Power, the guy he went up against, I mean, that's why he built up Aiden Todorov, because Chris Power 7-0 out of Combat, Coffs Harbour Combat. He's from Coffs Harbour. He's a G. Yeah, look, Chris Power, probably one of the least intimidating looking guys. Like, he walks to the ring to the cage in his like little Taekwondo uniform, which like in MMA you can tell people be like, oh, that's gay, but dude's scary. Dude's so scary. He's just tough. He's just so tough. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he put Aiden Todorov, probably the scariest prospect in amateur featherweight Australian MMA to sleep. All the power to him, pun intended. Dude is just, he's next level. I think Chris Power now automatically takes that spot of being sort of the next big, like, amateur prospect as well. I don't know if he's fought. Aiden was definitely his toughest fight to date. But yeah, look, the guys he's beaten on his way, and I feel like he didn't get a lot of credit going in because he fought on like Growth Fight Series. I think that's what it's called. And it's like a bit more regional, so he didn't get as much hype. And his last fight on Eternal was a decision. But he's beaten guys that were 2-1, 1-1, 2-0, 1-1, 1-1, 2-1. So he didn't really get the hype that he probably deserves. But Aiden being 8-2 and highly regarded as like probably the best amateur. Look, featherweight, the amateur featherweights, maybe I'm just looking at them a bit more, but like they are some of the scariest dudes going around, like Aiden Gould, Dom Aston, even Shai Krimitat was, he's very, very talented. Chris Power now I think stands out. If he doesn't go to number one, I'll be shocked. And to strangle Aiden Todorov out cold in under a minute, pretty surreal feeling for me as well because, I had to watch that cage side. It was just a different experience. So it's cool. I've done everything but get in the middle and throw down. So, it's coming. I've hung on the side of the cage. I've done ring announcing, done commentating. I've now cornered. Done it all, baby. All but one thing. But no, not about me. Don't know why I did that. I guess that's just what I do. But yeah, Chris Power, probably, the best amateur in Australia right now, I think, taking out Todorov. But like I said, I'm very biased on young Todorov. He'll be back. I'm hearing he'll be fighting again very soon and perhaps as a pro. Up next, Jesse Wynn. Oh, my God. I think it was 406 strikes landed in this fight against Jordan Southern. Jordan Southern is so talented, 2-0. I think he's out of integrated Sunshine Coast. Very, very talented flyweight. Jesse Wynn coming off that unfortunate knockout against Michael Allsop, who, after you see Jesse Wynn's performance, shows you how good Michael Allsop is. Jesse Wynn just came back. Seeing him at Wolves Den under the tutelage of Steve Walton has just been awesome. Former like Aussie Rules player, like athletic as all shit. Jesse Wynn just put on an absolute pace. Probably one of the best cardioed machines in the flyweight division, which I think is super impressive because every flyweight is super fit. So I think Jesse Wynn, despite the loss to Allsop, is definitely going to have a big 2026. He won via decision, I think it was. Like I said, guys, I was backstage or we were at like the pub after and I was watching it on my phone. So I'm not going to break down the fights too much because I don't want to do them justice. But, I saw a lot of them. I just didn't, normally I'll watch them back like 47 times before I sort of say stuff. Up next was a man that needed a win more than anyone, Jet Fisher. I think he finished his amateur career like 10-2 or something, and then he just came into his pro career like a bit of a wet fart. That's so disrespectful, Mitchell. But I've said this to Jet Fisher as well. He knows. So, you have to fight me for him. He knows this. To go down in his debut against Marlo, who's fucking sick, like really, really good. And then Emrahan Hekamuglu, who is talented, but also, enjoys a juice cleanse. Jet Fisher being 1-2 was not a great start for him into his pro career, and he takes on Alex Panaris, who, like I said, 2-2. He's fought some good guys as well. He's very, very, very tough, and Jet Fisher's just wild. Comes out, finishes him in 20 seconds, or was it 18 seconds? Body kick, rains it down in the most Fisher style. Those boys. I mean, I know they want to be like marketed as like the Diaz brothers of Australia, and all brothers do in mixed martial arts, especially in Australia, but these boys are insane. I saw a photo or a video of like him and his brother Cage, who's also supremely talented, also in the featherweight division for the amateurs. They both like lit each other on fire. It was scary. Might have been just been Cage, but they look like twins anyway. But they're just crazy. Both those boys are crazy. So it's good to see Jet get a victory because you can't just be a crazy fun pub fighter. Like you want to be the guy that climbs the ladder as well. So featherweight division pro, like it's going to be good to watch. Up next, we had Ran Dang versus Daniel Amari. Daniel Amari ended up picking up the TKO victory. I think it was round 2, could have been round 3, could be wrong. Ran Dang, the Midnight Samurai, is as scary as that name suggests. And he might be the scariest 1 and 2 guy in the history of the sport. He went on a run in amateurs, which is important for amateurs to realise as well when you have a not so important or you have a result not go your way. I think Randang was 5-0, and now in his pro career is 1 and 2. So it's like, you know what I mean? You can have this amazing, perfect amateur career, and then just unfortunately not have it get the start you want when it comes to your pro career. But Randang just, violent intentions. He can knock out anyone, and he ended up getting caught again by Daniel Amari, who is just, pro debut. Imagine this, pro debut. You got to take on Randang, who's like the sort of lightweight Ngannou. Like, he's just a scary, scary man. If you watch some of the guys that Amari's beaten on the way up, Ben Patterson, Ashley Roger, like they're really, really talented. Chris Morris, like these are scary, scary dudes in the Amis. And then taking on Randang, that just shows you how big the balls are on Mr. Amare. Keep an eye on him. Even at 1-0, that victory is worth 10. Very interested to see who Randang goes next, because he is never going to get an easy fight because he's such a scary man. So I think if you intend on sort of trying to rebuild his career, because like I said, at 1 and 2, he's just only ever going to fight killers or dudes that are insane. So it's going to be very, very hard. But Randang's super talented as well out of NTG and McNugget. They seem to be just absolute killers. Toughest train there as well. Dim Skilly's it's. I'll be interested to see how they bounce back, but not a great sort of turnout for Mr. Randang. But I do believe he will be able to put it together if he wants to. But Daniel Murray, fucking keep an eye on him. That guy, that kid's special. Up next was a bit of a controversial one, if you are to read the comments online. Ethan Mitchell versus Val Sharapov. Now, this is I will plead the fifth on this one. Normally, I'll just give an opinion on it. Both boys, very awkward sometimes in their movements. So you can sometimes think they're hurt when they're not. You can sometimes think they're gassed when they're not. But Ethan Mitchell ended up taking the decision victory over Val Sharapov. I know that I chatted to former Eternal MMA lightweight champion Aiden Aguilera, who is a Val Sharapov guy, and he was not happy with Ethan Mitchell getting the victory. I think there was some weird scoring on the judges, like 30-27, when maybe it should have at least been 29-28 if Ethan won. I don't know. Like I said, I really am pleading the fifth on this one, and I know it's kind of silly for me to come on and even talk about it without like really, really dissecting it, but I really wanted to get this out for you guys. Ethan Mitchell has been on the wrong side of a decision previously. I still stand by. I still think he beat Taser Mine. As much as Taser's going to wish I said this when I ran into him at CMBT last time, because then he could just punch me in the face. But he's on to bigger and better things too. I'm hearing some rumours about that man. Anyway, back to this. Ethan Mitchell, like I said, he's been on the wrong side of some decisions before. So even if it is, it's like you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. Very, very talented. From what I was looking at, I just had like my phone like this, kind of like at the pub. I thought Mitchell won, but once again, like, fucking go fuck yourself, Mitchell. Like, you don't know what you're watching, and you really shouldn't have an opinion on it. Val Sharapov, though, I from what I saw as well, I don't think I was too upset that... I wouldn't have been too upset if he won. I think he's supremely talented, but he seemed, and both these boys do this as well, Val Sharapov seems to have this thing where, like, I don't know if he's, like, tired or he's like kind of like just trying to be creative, but he does these like little flippy roll things, and sometimes I reckon the judges go, oh, he's hurt or he's tired, It's like, I think those, and because Ethan Mitchell runs into this as well. So I wonder if like that movement, it like almost like tricks the judges. Like they're like, oh, he's rolling. He's rolling around. He's Granby rolling. Like, what's going on? He must be hurt. So I don't know. Like I said, I will go back and watch this and then probably come back and comment to myself and be like, Mitchell, you're an idiot. But this is the one more than ever. Let me know. Who do you think won? Comment, message, do whatever you need to do. I'll be very, very interested to see how it goes. Up next, fight of the year. Man, what this man has already given to Australian MMA is stuff of legends. Alfred Stoddart versus D. Samasoni. Alfred Stoddart is just either diamond or coal, isn't he? He really, really is. He will either get chinned in the first round or he will fight of the night, fight to the death. And I feel like he would agree with that assumption. That man is talented, but when you take on Darcy Vendy, John Martin Fraser, and Cam Rouston in your first, 6 fights, you're going to be 5-5 going in. He's the scariest man that has ever been 6-5, I think, in the history of the sport. That is a crazy record. Since 2023, so it's 3 years, he has fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He has fought 11 times in 3 years. That is very impressive. With, 12 times in 6 years, 11 of them being pro. So, that man is averaging at least 3 fights a year. It's just impressive. Stoddart is great. He's amazing on the ground. He's so underrated. His jiu-jitsu is so underrated, but he can strike with just about everyone. His eye, he looked like he was about to lose it. D. Samasoni, I said, does not get enough credit. He's had some unfortunate things go with weight cuts and things like that, and sometimes it looks like the cardio's not there. But I reckon it's just there's moments where he just gets fucking hit, hurt or something, and then he grits through it, and then he gets this critique of it. I've heard people say it before, but he is so talented. D. Samasoni, 3-0, well now 3-1. Super, super talented. He nearly got the best of Stoddart multiple times. It was on a knife's edge, as they say. Training out of Combat One. If you talk to the guys at Platinum One Management who handled John O'Micallef, his teammate John O'Micallef, you talk to Ben Sassoli, you talk to Sammy Hayward about D. Samasonian, they can't speak highly enough of him. And what he did after the fight as well, go look at his social media and watch how he handles it. There's zero excuse. He just comes out and he's like, yeah, man, Alfred was better. I'll be back. And I'm like, that level. I mean, all the Combat One guys are like that. It's super impressive. My hat's off. I might just keep it on. For D. Samasoni, I'd like to see him back. Obviously, it's an absolute war, so take some time off. Let's see you back in August. But I know that people were looking at him to go to the next level. So that's how talented D is. I think it's just a small speed bump in the road because, look, at the end of the day, if you can go to war with John O'Micallef day in and day out, you're probably prepped for the next level. Stoddart is he's a weird one, eh? He's a fucking weird one. Kind of does his own weight cut. He's got his own science. He just jumps in there. I think he said something like he wants to have 25 fights or something stupid like that. He was calling out Kit Campbell when he was an amateur, and I was like, you're insane. And then he went on to fight Darcy Vendy, John Martin Fraser, and Cam Rouston, who are all UFC caliber. It's just, yeah, the dude's insane, and the way he breaks it down is just next level shit. So Alfred Stoddart win against D in the Amis and the pros shows that it's definitely Alfred Stoddart seems to have the number there, but man, I'd watch these guys fight 100 more times. That fight was, that's fight of the year so far already. If you disagree with me, let me know. I know we're in March, but I reckon I might be sending awards out very, very, very soon. Moving on to the co-main event. One of the most, he seems mentally unhinged at times and scares the shit out of me. Lonnie Filamahala, who is just as real as it gets. You would have seen the interview where he, heading into the fight, was staying super hydrated with his electrolytes. watch him at the weigh-ins against Andrew Mills, and it was just a scary, scary time. He's just so intense. Andrew Mills is as tough as they come. I think 10-6. He might be 10-7 now, but finishes Lonnie Filamahala finishes Andrew Mills, but the guys that he's sort of taken on has been Joseph Luciano, John Varkey, Theo Christakis, who was like an AFC champion back in the day, very, very talented. Andrew Mills has fought just about everyone. He's fought Izzy Fitakifu. He is as tough as they come. Lonnie Filamahala, we talked about his grappling, about how talented he was at grappling, and he just goes like, yeah, you know, it's weird because I'm a Tongan and I'm like grappling, but then he must have had a community meeting because he came back and he just started swinging and dinging, and he damn near knocked Andrew Mills' head off, finished it, and then go watch his post-fight. It is just fucking hilarious. He is so funny. I haven't probably given him the props or the flowers that he deserves. But man, I definitely think sort of this year he's going to have a big one. He's done a lot of like gamma and all that sort of stuff. So he's way more talented and technical than like people even give him credit for. But he's also tough as shit, and now he's like really, really showing his striking. So to put like Quinn Kelly away like he did a while back, and he called for a title fight. Sam Miles, the Minister of Offence, who seems to be sort of the flavour of the month, old Sammy Miles, doing great stuff, called for a title shot as well. Lonnie wants one after Andrew Mills. You got Alfred Stoddart. I'll be honest, what do I think will happen? What do I want to happen? Fatal four-way. No, what do I think will happen? I think you go maybe like a Sammy Miles versus... I mean, I know him and Lonnie basically were like, yeah, like, let's fight. Welterweight's a bit of a weird one now. Joseph Luciano, you kind of can't give him anything because he's like coming on 3 losses, and even though you might have thought he won, it's still in the record book as a loss. I wouldn't mind Stoddart versus Miles, and Lonnie versus Glenn Pettigrew, or mix and match, do whatever you want to do. But I reckon hold off. You've held off on the belt long enough with Martinez. I reckon just have like a little tournament like you did with the featherweights, but just have that. I mean, I'm probably forgetting a guy or two. Don't get me wrong, but I think Lonnie versus Miles, and Stoddart versus Pettigrew. And then maybe you do the winner of Miles. But like even Lonnie, like he's an absolute G, and he will murder me for saying this. But he, lost against Connor Downey, so it's like it's not like there's that run that you need, that 3 wins in a row type thing. But yeah, if you go into the welterweight rankings, Martinez is gone, vacated. Kit Campbell's like a hex boy or doing something else. Luciano's coming off that loss, even if you thought he won. Vale's pretty much like done. You could probably throw him in there, but I don't see it. Friedrich is hex. I mean, Jack James seems like he's a beat-down boy through and through. Wouldn't leave. Then you're on to Stoddart. Artie Trepp, who did all right, but it's probably not there yet. Rideout's retired. Varkey's coming off losses. James Varkey's in the PFL. I think you go Pettigrew. Oh, I mean, you got Jackson Weir-White. You got Nate Law. Fuck. You got Samad Jahanara secretly just quietly climbing the ranks after his victory, moving to 5-1, 6-1, 6-1, 5-1, 6-1. He's doing well, and he's back in it all. So, all right. Here's what we got: Samad Jahanara, Nate Law, Jackson Weir-White, Glenn Pettigrew, Alfred Stoddart, Lonnie Filamahala, Sam Miles. It's a lot. And then, fuck, you throw Luciano in there. Maybe Stoddart versus Luciano. Why not? See how it goes there. Just mix and match. Welterweight's fucking looking good again. I'll tell you that. I don't think there's a clear-cut contender. And I expect you to all send your abuse to @Australian MMA _ on Instagram. And I might even get in trouble by the government because of Sam Miles' dad. No, honestly, who do you think? It's a real pick 'em. I reckon whatever you throw at me, I reckon I'll go, yeah, that's probably a good matchup. Moving on to the main event, the Eternal MMA Interim Featherweight Championship. Now, I'm hearing the rumours that Seb Saleh might be signed to the road to UFC again or UFC, like a UFC card. Like many people have been telling me that. I think even Matty Bones said something on the broadcast about that. He also said some funnier things, like when I was in the corner of Mr. Todorov, he said that the pen is mightier than the sword, and I thought that was very poetic. But I can't really handwrite either, so it makes sense. Matty Bones said that he's heard whispers too about Seb. So I think this Eternal MMA Interim Featherweight Championship will pretty much get flipped into the official very, very, very soon. Kevin Kophamel, absolutely just super impressive, choking out Justin Van Heerden. I think it was round 3. There was an unfortunate illegal knee that sort of hit Justin in the head pretty hard, split him open. Justin doesn't get the credit I feel like he deserves. Like he's 18-10 now or something. He has fought a lot, and he is single-handedly helped build this channel as well, but also the Australian MMA scene in general. And he cops a lot of shit, and I get it because he talks a lot of shit. That's, I know more than anyone. But yeah, I hate to see that kind of when he missed weight, and he missed weight by a lot. It was like a kilo. Kevin Kophamel still took the fight. I mean, for a dude that fought Harry Webb, sort of upper weight class, on what was it, 24 hours notice or whatever it was. You knew Kevin Kophamel would take the fight. So Justin wasn't eligible to win the belt anyway. He was sitting there at weigh-in. He didn't look like he was dying. I'm not going to quiz a man that's 30 fights in, but it's not like he was getting carried to the stage. It was a bit unfortunate too. Didn't see too many of his guys with him. It was cool to see Joe Lopez in his corner. Big fan of that man, even if it is one way. It was cool to see him in the corner. Justin is as good as they get. I just think Kevin is just that next level. I think Justin now is, if we look at this, he's definitely going to turn into, and this is not disrespectful, this is more instead of a gatekeeper, I want to call him the standard bearer, the bouncer. If you can't get past him, you're probably not going on the next level. If you can, you probably are. So he goes, after the Raf Scott victory in 2024, he goes, lost to Joblin, beat Shanucci, lost to Wang, beat Malone, lost to Mangos, beat Swain, lost to Kophamel. So he's got that real 50-50 record lately. And I think just if anyone's going to talk shit, Justin's going to beat a lot of your favourite fighters. Taser Malone, Jesse Swain, although early still in their careers, they're very fucking talented. I just think Mangos is fucking special. Joblin's a gun. Kophamel is probably not as much hype as Mangos, but he's probably going to be just as talented. Anyone that's watched Kophamel move and look, he's bloody fight of the century with Harry Webb, and then he backed it up with another fight of the year. The dude's gritty. He's impressive. He showed off his jiu-jitsu. That was just his grappling, which is just next level as well. Very, very impressed with Kophamel. I think it's less about Van Heerden, who hit a bit of a speed bump again, but I think he fights on, and I think he probably fights for a title again at some stage in a couple of fights. As these guys move on, all he has to do is win one more, and you give Justin a belt, you give him a shot. There's a lot of young featherweights coming up, so I think if they can't get through Justin Van Heerden, you don't belong to go to the next level. Kophamel, I could see if I'm hearing guys that there's some names getting thrown around for road UFC, some guys that are probably even sooner into their sort of career than you would have thought. They're not the standout champion just yet. I'm hearing a Mangos. I'm hearing Seb. I'm hearing I even heard like Taser Malone's name get thrown around by a few people. There's some other guys. Like, so I think, once again, it's really, really cool for Australian MMA, but it's going to be quite tricky. Once again, none of those sources are reliable, but I've just heard a few of them pop around. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Kophamel gets it next as well. Like at 4-1, you know, you're now starting to be ready enough. And then, mate, maybe Swain puts a victory over and then you run Justin and Swain back after Justin gets a victory. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, it's just interesting. There's a lot going on. I think we went through a bit of a lull last year with a lot of guys getting picked up and scooped up for the UFC. I think shout out to the boys at the Road to UFC and how they flew the flag for us, because I think that is really turning into not just a Dana White contender series, like a Temu Dana White contender series. It's turning into more like a legitimate pathway, because just announced, and I'll go into it in another video, I might record it now, Don Marfan, like getting his first fight in the UFC is against Cody Steele. So it's like, they obviously think that Don Marfan has the sort of skill level to pull that off. So they're starting to really like look at the Aussies, and I think Eternal did a great job at obviously showcasing everyone. And I don't think they get enough credit for kind of like having to fill the gaps at times. Because if you look at like the title, who's the title holder and stuff, I don't think for a while they've had this many like vacant belts or interim belts and all that sort of stuff. But they're doing their best to sort of make a star. And then before they've even finished making the star, the UFC is like, thank you. And then they take them, especially to Road to UFC, which gives them like a whole year where they're like, they might lose, right? So say Seb doesn't get signed to the UFC, right? Because it's not confirmed. He comes back, but he's been gone for like a whole year doing Road to UFC. So it's like, it'd be so hard trying to build stars right now. That's why I think things like the amateurs, absolutely killing it. Chris Power, Aiden Gould, Todoff, hopefully when he bounces back, Dom Aston, all those boys. Like featherweight's really exciting. I like welterweight. It's a bit of like pick 'em, like you put two fights together, all of a sudden you can look like you might be the guy. Yeah, good times. Great event. It was really, really weird to be on the other side, cornering a guy. Yeah, it was a different feeling, and it gave me even more. Not that I ever, regardless of what you guys think, I always sort of respected the process of it all, and yeah, it was just a different feeling. Really sort of reset me, like in the sport and sort of loving what everyone does. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, leave us a review. It'd really help me out. Yeah, I might do a little bit of a UFC news recap in a sec, but let us know what you thought about the card. The Beatdown Promotions, March 20th, I think, is the next card for Australian MMA. And I think Perth, May 1st, is the return of Eternal MMA 105, I think it is, with an absolute banger of a fight between Antonio the Spartan Caruso. That is a bad blood match if I've ever seen one. I cannot wait to stir that shit up against Luke Daly, who I think is really going to have his coming out party, and he's like overtaking Harry. I shouldn't say overtaking, that's disrespecting. Like, I just always feel like it was Harry Webb, and then you'd hear about Luke Daly. And I feel like with Harry Webb, unfortunately, sort of still having to handle some other things, I feel like this is going to be the real moment that we get to just push Luke Daly. And it's a real massive opportunity for him. That's coming up in May. And I'm hearing rumours of Alden Bates, Darcy Vendy. There is no substance to that, but I'm hearing them. And that is a very violent fight. So, look, we'll talk about it a little bit more. I've already talked to you off enough. Like I said, like, subscribe, leave a review. It'd help out a lot. And just send your Death Mayhem. Okay, thanks, Siri. All right, guys. See you next time.